Hello, this is Austin Cull with Fantasy Six Pack, and we're trying a new set series that's going to basically be a trivia game called Battle of the Baseball Minds with Basketball Brains. I already messed that up. Battle of the Baseball Brains Trivia Show. And the overall concept of this show and why you're spending time with us here today is that we're going to uncover a lot of the really relevant baseball stats that have to do with right now that you're not going to find in a box score. So be able to really differentiate, people or peers against peers who are maybe the same amount of like fantasy points, but because there's so many dependent points, who is going to be sustainable and who is sort of like a flash in the pan kind of thing. So again, I am Austin Cull. I contribute on Fantasy Six Pack and also have a website called Fantasy Baseball on Deck on the side. And I will go through the rest of our contestants here. We got DapScout over to my left or right, however it is on the screen. Do you want to say anything about yourself?
I want to say that I apologize to everybody that's reading this closed caption. My God, I feel so sorry for you. So, yeah, other than that, I'm so happy to be here. I was told that there was going to be something in the green room. There wasn't. It was the worst green room I've ever been in. But other than that, I can't wait to just show how ignorant I am when it comes to stats and data.
Incredible. We are off to an incredible start. All right, Dave Eddy, champion of the daily fantasy sports guy. What would you like to say about yourself?
Well, I don't know about Dep. I had VD in my green room, so that was pretty cool. And everybody knows I'm most handsome man on Fantasy Six Pack, so we can just move along.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Connor, would you like to say anything about yourself that's halfway appropriate?
I'm wondering where my green room was because that wasn't in my agenda. I just walked in here and there's nothing. So I'm just curious. I'm holding a grudge to this one. So if I get all 10 right and you guys get them all wrong, just know that's how I wanted it to be.
Okay. No chance at 100%, but I wish you the best. Jason, would you like to introduce yourself?
Sure. I'm actually just here to compete for the $1 million in cash prizes that I'll be taking home tonight. So thanks to Fantasy Six Pack for the purse.
That was an interesting way to announce to the public that we just got a lot of investor money. But here we go. All right. I'm going to unveil question one. Before I unveil question one, I'll actually read it to you so you have an opportunity to analyze and select your answers. Which starting pitcher, minimum of 40 innings pitched, has given up the least number of total bases so far in 2023? And go ahead and start this up. Total bases being the amount of bases hit or earned per hit. So we'll say
Bartolo Colon is not on here.
It's rigged. That's why.
Hits. 2 singles would equal 2 total bases. 2 home runs would equal 8 total bases. So who has given up the least number of total bases so far this season? What do you guys think? What are your thoughts going through your head?
I think it's going to be the opposite of whatever I pick.
Okay. Are there
I got it narrowed down to 2 options.
Yeah.
I'm just happy that Eduardo Rodriguez is on the list.
I was going to say, it's unfair that you give us a Detroit answer for a Detroit fan in the
Well, Sonny Gray's middle name is Cy Young. So this one's pretty easy.
Yeah, you know what? Yeah.
The analyst so far has sucked. What do you guys think about these pitchers? Sonny Gray, middle name.
That's because we're trying to answer the damn question.
Okay, so first of all, right? I mean, obviously Dustin May came in with a ton of fanfare. He's been not as great as everything else, right? But Sonny Gray has been awesome because especially if you got him late with your ADP, he's really been paying off. Joe Ryan's shown that last year wasn't a fluke. Eduardo Rodriguez is a guy I will never roster because while he's with the Red Sox, he killed me all the time. I know he's fantastic right now, and he's just pitching shutout after shutout. But my God, it's Eduardo Rodriguez. He's going to do terrible things to your team. Just my team. I have a long history of hating Eduardo Rodriguez. I'm sorry.
Well, maybe he'll get traded to the A's because the Tigers are trading him here pretty soon.
Well, or whatever you're going to call him next year, the poker chips. Or whatever. I'm not angry about that at all.
Ship them to the Cardinals.
Maybe they'll be the Las Vegas VD. That makes sense.
Victory Day.
Again, incredible analysis. Like so, has everyone submitted their?
Oh, you should have screened us better, Austin.
I'm giving you hard questions. So just think about it. Who's given up the least, basically, like the least number of extra base hits?
I think it's Eduardo Rodriguez.
Eduardo Rodriguez is a thought.
You threw me for a loop with the 2 Minnesota pitchers. I don't know if that was on purpose or if you're, I don't know, a Twins fan. I'm not sure why the dual Twins pitchers.
They're both majorly outperforming their peers right now. They're
the AL Central is a beast.
Well, I mean, let's be honest, right? Eduardo Rodriguez is not going to be at the Tigers much longer. He's going to be traded. He's a huge trade chip right now. So, right. I mean, Sonny Gray, he doesn't have a contract that's really tradable at the moment. Joe Ryan's way too young to be traded. You want to keep that. Yeah. But so, yeah, Eduardo Rodriguez out of these 4 is gone before the All-Star break.
And he's also the guy I'd like to least own in fantasy of the group.
Exactly.
So
I'm thinking Dustin May is the guy to eliminate first.
Yeah.
Oh, by far. He's been terrible.
I think Dustin May is second. I don't know if we're going to see all 4, but I think Dustin May is second.
No, it's going to be Eduardo Rodriguez because I didn't pick him. It's going to probably be Sonny Gray and Joe Ryan and May.
We got 45 seconds, 40 seconds. Have you guys all submitted your answers?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Everyone submitted.
Yeah,
I did.
All right. Well, this pitcher specifically, though he is number 1 in least amount of total bases given up this year, and he's only 61st overall so far in strikeout percentage. He's getting hit similarly to everyone else, but he's just giving up singles. And who is that? The ugliest pitcher of anyone available.
No
way.
Los Angeles.
Wow. Never in a million years.
Yeah, I know.
Nope.
It's solid stuff.
Wow.
We're off to a good start. Anyone get that right?
Nope.
No.
Oh, incredible. This is great. So I get to start off the show with some personalized music that I made just for this right situation. I can't believe it already.
I feel sorry for everybody
Hey, mister,
watching
I seem
this.
to have a bit of a situation on my hand here. You see, I'm trying to put on a high-quality show for the fantasy baseball community, and, well, I've resorted to calling the emergency hotline today because I've lost all hope, and that all has to do with the fact that I'm surrounded by idiots!
911, what's your emergency?
Yeah, that was my emergency. I'm surrounded by a bunch of fucking idiots. Oh, I cursed. I didn't mean to do that. But anywho, all right, we're starting off 0%. Who would probably be the guy that built the trivia show? All right, question number 2.
Gonna adjust
We have the lowest on-base percentage against which of these starting pitchers? And I'll read all of those to you now. We've got Tyler Wells of the Baltimore Orioles. We have Zach Gallen of the Arizona Diamondbacks, Clayton Kershaw, LA Dodgers, George Kirby, Seattle Mariners. What are your guys' hunches? What are you guys thinking?
God, it could be any one of them, honestly.
Yeah. These are the 4 most random names that we could think of.
So I'm thinking it's gonna be Tyler Wells just because you're gonna mess with us and show it was Tyler Wells this whole time. I mean, obviously Gallen and Kirby and Kershaw. Oh my! Although Kershaw at any moment is gonna break.
So thinking about guys that do not give up any walks, they don't get hit hard. I mean, obviously, if they get hit hard or barely hit, people get on base. Just looking for really, really efficient players.
I'm locking my answer in.
Yeah, I would have picked Kershaw, but I don't trust anything now after the last question.
So I mean, for a few reasons. So I already know just from DFS stuff here the last couple weeks that Tyler Wells' BABIP against is ungodly low. It's like under 150. And then his walk percentage is something like 5%. So I think as soon as Austin mentioned, guys who don't walk guys very often, I'm like, it's Tyler Wells.
That's the first.
That BABIP is seriously ridiculous.
And the other great thing is he plays in one of the worst hitters park in the entire MLB. So yeah, that definitely helps.
One of the worst teams in baseball too. Am I right, guys? Like the Orioles.
Jeez,
wow.
Who in their right mind would like the Baltimore Orioles?
Wow.
Can't think of anybody.
Our founder, Joe Vaughn, proud Orioles fan, even though he lives in Washington, D.C.
Joe Bond? Never heard of him.
Austin, you know your check's still going to clear, right? Like, it doesn't, you don't have to kiss his butt.
Did I say Joe Bond or Joe Biden?
Oh, okay.
Wow, no.
We'll see, man. This is the first time I think, well, all right, let's talk about it. Anyways, this pitcher specifically holds batters to the lowest on-base percentage in Major League Baseball, but somehow is actually only 18th overall in ERA. However, that makes sense. So, like, though he's given up the second least amount of hits in 2023, a whopping 44% of those hits are extra base hits, and like 32% of the 42. So, like, of the 44. So, like, a large number. 32% of his hits given up total this year have been home runs. And who is that? Tyler Wells with the Baltimore.
Oh, yeah.
I see what we're doing here. I see what we're
Good
doing.
analysis. Good stuff.
But his his the advantage there also is how well his infield defense has increased over the last year. I mean, that really does play a role there as well. If we're talking about, obviously getting on base, because his infield defense has been phenomenal this year as well.
No, that's where the BABIP comes into play,
Yeah. No,
you're a BABIP. Jeez, don't be calling me that.
You got him there. All right, number 3. Which batter in Major League Baseball 2023 leads in total bases so far? So look for individual offensive production. We got Ronald Acuna Jr. having a huge year with the Atlanta Braves. We got Randy Rosarina, who actually has his own section now named for him in Tropicana Field with Tampa Bay Rays. Wander Franco, his teammate with Tampa Bay Rays, is living up to his star-studded, prospect rating of an 80 overall contact. And then Bo Bichette is obviously a staple in that monster of a Toronto Blue Jays super young offense that is full of nepotism, right? Is that the right word? Anyways, so thoughts? Any guys? Any hunches?
My first thoughts are the Tampa Bay guys with that streak they started on to start the season. I think that is going to carry both of them, but one of them definitely going to be at the top in my thoughts.
I mean, I want to say it's Acuna, but it seems a little obvious. I think we've learned it's not going to be the obvious guy already. So I think we can take Acuna off, even though he does lead the league. Well, doesn't lead the league, but he's right in the top 5 in slugging.
Yeah.
And pretty much everything, right? Stolen bases, walks. I mean, dude, he's just incredible. So that's why I'm picking the guy who plays for the Diamondbacks, because you can't even. I'm going to pick the non-obvious answer.
This is the one I feel like the first 4 names that there was no like wrinkle in it. Like there was not like Taylor Walls. Like it was just not like a.
Wow.
All 4 of these guys could be leading in total bases.
I tell you what, I'm going with my gut, and I'm going with like my second favorite player in baseball.
You jerk.
I'm going Bo Bichette.
Like
Bo Bichette is so underrated. And kind of, I think people forget about him after he didn't.
Yeah.
On paper, he didn't have the best season last year, but if you go back and look at his stats, they weren't the absolute worst, but people just expect so much of him.
Yeah, and again, that stadium has changed. The dimensions have changed a lot over the last year. Yeah, you're right. It's Bo Bichette all day long. I should have thought about that ahead of time. The 2 Tampa Bays should have been a ringer. That was not the right answer, but I think it's Bo Bichette 100%.
Yeah, I'm just looking at individual production, not necessarily relating them to the team's success, but how productive are these hitters individually, taking away their stolen bases, opportunities and things. Just how many bases have they collected so far in 2023? And is everybody in?
Yeah.
I've submitted. Yep.
All right, everyone's submitted. Okay, so this player specifically only ranks 16th in runs and 23rd in RBIs, and nor is he the leader of his own position. But the underlying stats that he is, in fact, the most productive individual hitter in Major League Baseball this season, and that is Bo Bichette with the Toronto Blue Jays. Nice call out there. That was good.
And the crazy part about that, too, is, again, I look at all this nonsense and all these advanced stats for DFS, and I can tell you he's not in the top 20 for slugging percentage in the league. And you kind of think that, that's kind of the leading stat towards total bases, but, obviously it's not.
The second you started getting into the slugging percentage and the on-base percentage, those 3 core numbers at the very end, things to me get a little murky, but looking at total bases and total bases per hit has always been the cleanest way for me to separate, individuals from their peers of who is the most sustainable, most productive person, when they do get a hit. Because it's you have those opportunities was Luis Arias is having a really good year as, again, just sheer volume leading at the hitting at the top of that Miami lineup every single day, but he will never be the number 1 guy at his position because he's the singles machine, right? So how
did he get traded to Miami already?
What?
No.
Whatever. Okay.
I don't want to ruin any of your questions later, Austin, but from doing the research earlier, for like I said, for DFS, I can tell you who leads the league by a decent margin in slugging percentage, and I don't think anyone would ever get. I think I could give people 100 guesses and they wouldn't get it. Is that going to ruin anything if I say that?
No, it won't actually. No.
Okay.
So yeah,
Can I guess?
Well, hold on.
Take some guesses.
Well, okay, go ahead, Connor.
I was gonna say Yandy Diaz.
Nope. I think Yandy's second though. JP, who is it?
Total bases in the what? I'm sorry. What's the question?
Who leads the league in slugging percentage?
Slugging percentage.
You're the only person that could get it.
Gallo.
No, Oakland A.
Really?
Oh,
Wow.
Rooker.
Wow. Rooker. Yeah. And the thing about Rooker, though, is he was DFA'd everywhere. The guy was DFA'd everywhere, and the Twins let him go. I've been following this guy for forever, and I love that he's with the A's because he's such a true 3-outcome player. And the best part is he reminds me a lot of Jack Cust. Oh, my God. The guy, Rooker.
The best part, and Connor will really appreciate this, his OBP, 420.
Look at that.
Got you, Connor. I got you, buddy.
Club 420.
So, a scoring update through the first three questions. We've got Dave Eddy leading DapScout number 2. I myself know all the answers, but I'm the last one to answer. 171. And Connor at 162. Very, very admirable. And oh my God, we'll just move on for Jason. And we'll hide this again. Are you guys ready to start? Question number 4.
Yep.
All right. Let's do it. I'll read it first before I give you guys the options. So, since 2009, Jacoby Ellsbury of the Boston Red Sox, 2009, is the only player to record at least 70 stolen bases in a season. How many players are currently on pace to take 70-plus stolen bases in 2023? So, not looking for individuals. How many people are currently on pace to steal more than 70 bases this year? I'm hitting the start button now. The answer is 1, 2, 4, or 6.
All of them. The answer is all of them.
We're a quarter of the way through the season, so they would need to have like 17 stolen bases now-ish.
I think just 1. That's my guess.
Well, there's my.
I'm gonna say 2, and I think I can name them. Do I get bonus if I can name them?
Yeah, the Oakland A, Mr. Oakland A.
Other people.
I actually have a solid bet on Ruiz to lead the league in stolen bases, so we'll see if that.
So Ruiz is 1,
and then we just talked about the other guy.
Yeah. See, I honestly thought it was going to be 6, something ridiculous. I could pick the 2 in my head right away, but I thought for sure I was like, well, it's going to be something. Like he's going to be like, oh yeah, let me show you how many people. Yeah. It's going to be 6.
Yeah, the on pace is different than what's really going to happen because I can see a guy like I know Volpe's got like 12 or 13, but I can see him stealing bags in a trunk. So I could see us getting to like 3 or 4 at the end of the day. But on pace, I think it's 2. If it's not 2, it's 1. But
it's 2 for sure. It's 2. I mean,
I think it's 2 as well.
Yeah.
All right, is everybody in?
Yep.
Everybody in? All right, cool. Yeah, so Estuary Ruiz, Oakland A. We've been talking about them a lot throughout the last couple minutes. And Ronald Acuna Jr. in 2023 are the only 2 currently that are on pace to actually break that 70 record, which is wild because if we look at the all-time record being Ricky Henderson back in 1982, does anyone know how many stolen bases he stole in one season alone?
It was like 120 something.
That was
130 stolen bases in 1 year is wild. Given like stolen bases are up by like however many percent, 400% so far this year, and they're not even going to like sniff that record. Like that's just something that will never ever be broken. 130 stolen bases an entire year is pretty.
No, I mean there's some guys that like Corbin Carroll. Like if you just gave him the green light and said, "Hey man, I'll give you $100 million if you steal 130 bases," I bet you he could do it, but he would just have to run every time he got on base.
Yeah, and they've got to give them the opportunity to run as well. It's like one of those things where it's like they've got to be on a roster where like no one's in front of them. Like Trey Turner right now, for whatever reason, if anyone can answer me the question of why Chubby, I hate him. Why whatchamacallit is batting in front of Trey Turner with the Philadelphia Phillies? I don't know why.
Percentage. He's an OBP monster.
But you think about how much money they paid Trey Turner for all of a sudden. Why am I blanking on his name? He plays left field. He's going to Schwarber. Kyle Schwarber is going to walk himself onto base, or he's going to smack a home run 500 feet, nothing in between. Regardless, like so many times Trey Turner's getting on base, and that's his thing too. And it's like, oh, I've got Schwarber at second, and I can't do the thing that makes me different than everyone else. And like, the Phillies just make me want to throw my head through a wall. I don't understand what they're doing. Last year, they like built the least athletic defense you could ever roster, and they somehow made it to the World Series. They keep getting rewarded for doing stupid shit. And here we are. So, anywho.
Do we need to lay down on the sofa and talk about this? I mean, it sounds like
it's possible.
Just unload, man. Just unload. Talk about your feelings.
Kyle,
it's okay.
I think like through therapy on my own, I've blocked out Kyle Schwarber from my head there for long enough. For it to
maybe the Phillies will trade Schwarber to the A's for Brent Rooker, and then they can have a guy, up near the top of the league in on-base percentage.
Well, maybe at least get the hell out of the way of Trey Turner, who is not producing for our brother and I in our dynasty leagues. Anyways, let's go ahead and move on to question number 5. And if we look over here at the scoreboard, not much has changed, except Connor really made a big jump right there. Dave Eddy is leading. Connor, number 2. Austin, who's technically really not playing. I'll just stop saying that I exist. DapScout at 216. And
you gotta put a Cubs question in there for Jason to have a chance.
I gotta stop answering the first 10 seconds of the question comes up.
Yeah.
Hey man, if you ever get one right though, you'll get a bunch of points.
Quality over quantity, friends.
Stick with your strategy, Jason.
There we go.
Yeah, Jason. Keep going with it.
It's obviously working out very well.
We're so far behind, Jason. Don't worry.
You kind of have to answer quick.
All right, question number 5. What batter leads Major League Baseball in average exit velocity in miles per hour on balls put into play in 2023?
So
your options are Yandy Diaz with the Tampa Bay Rays. He was mentioned earlier. Matt Chapman with the Toronto Blue Jays having a really kind of resurgent year. Aaron Judge is a guy that we know all about, big giant mutant who hits balls really hard. And Matt Olson, honestly, just as large. He just doesn't play the outfield, specifically center field, roaming around and making more athletic plays than anyone that size should ever make. So what do you guys think? Any thoughts?
I mean, I'll refrain because I know the answer to the question.
It's Chapman. It's got to be Chapman. It's got to be one of these silly Chapman questions. I love seeing 2 Oakland A's on here. I forget. I don't care what team they're on now. I love seeing 2 Oakland A's on here. But yeah, it's got to be Chapman. He's having this ridiculous Alzheimer's season. It's just
smacking balls very hard. Yes, I agree.
But Yandy has also been, playing really well too, and I think.
Oh, yeah, I agree. I mean, Yandy's always been a guy that hits the ball hard, but I think he's too obvious for Austin here, and I think he's.
You can rule out Aaron Judge. I know that Aaron.
Not it's not Judge.
And again, it's average exit velocity per ball put into play. So not really we're not measuring overall production and quality of production and volume. So though Aaron Judge has been hurt a couple of times, it's really just how hard are these guys hitting it when they do make contact.
Nobody puts more balls in play than Chapman.
So here's a fun fact for people who follow along with the DFS videos. JD Davis, a guy who I've touted, I think twice in the last week. Dude is in the top 15. I know that in exit velocity. So you just never know sometimes some of the names that you're going to see in there. But I know JD Davis is right around the top 10, definitely inside the top 15.
Yeah, he's for sure a guy that every time he comes up, he gets a new shot with a new team. It's he's back. He's finally going to make it. And then all of a sudden, he just doesn't make playing time. He gets hurt. And he's had a confusing career to say the least. But,
It's an interesting one. I know, MJ Melendez is in the top 10, maybe even top 5 still.
Another big, strong guy. Yeah,
he's real high up there.
There's guys you don't think of when you think of it. When you think of this question, you think it's Aaron Judge or, Vlad Jr. or something. But it's Yandy Diaz.
No, it's Chapman all day long. It's got to be Chapman.
Promise.
So, you guys submitted? Everyone submitted in?
Yep.
All right, everyone's in. So hitting the ball an average of 95.7 miles per hour, exiting velocity in 2023. He's currently tied for 7th in home runs in the all of Major League Baseball with 10,
Chapman.
and he's only hit double-digit home runs twice in his career. What is the answer? It's actually Yandy Diaz.
Wow.
What the hell?
Devil Rays.
Let's go.
Yeah, Connor brought up Yandy Diaz earlier. I was like, oh, that stat plays exactly into what I'm going to talk about later. So
He's my guy. I was big on him earlier coming into the year when we were doing the team previews, when me and Dave were doing that. And I mean, he even said, I know you're huge on him this year, and it really has panned out. He's killing it.
Yeah, and his flexibility in positions too obviously makes him a valuable commodity to start the year. So we'll just hope that
he is a sell high.
And he's hurt. Isn't he hurt right now?
He's hurt baseballs. Hey-o.
I didn't see he got hurt.
I didn't see that he got hurt either, unless that's just as of the last day. What is the right word to say? These stats are from.
He's undergoing the MRI for a possible groin injury as of yesterday.
Oh no.
Yep.
Lame. Yeah, the Tampa Bay Rays best baseball
team. He's swinging that dick around the field so much.
Gonna get hurt.
Oh my god.
But anyhow, all right. Well, let's look at the scoreboard. Dave Eddy is still leading the way. Connor in second, DapScout in fourth.
Third, because there is an Austin Cull.
Jason, we don't score like golf. We are scoring like bowling.
I called out Yandy Diaz, and the damn scouts over here running his mouth about Chapman, and I'm like,
Listen, you'd be the first person to listen to
I would have had
Dap
Yandy
about
Diaz
baseball.
in 10 seconds.
I would have had him in 10 seconds. But you didn't.
He just wants to where Patrick Wisdom is on the list. You want an honorable mention.
But all right, so question number 6. In the last 15 days, so we're going really relevant collection of numbers here. In the last 15 days, which starting pitcher has incurred 25.2 innings pitched, 25 strikeouts, 1 shutout, 3 wins, and has given up 0 earned runs? I had to hit the start button there. We've got
I know this one. That one's easy.
Rangers.
Eduardo
Rodriguez with the Detroit Tigers. Bryce Miller through his first 3 starts with Seattle, with the Mariners, and actually Chris Sale having a crazy couple weeks here with the Boston Red Sox. So, what are you guys' thoughts?
God, I would have been Eduardo if we didn't have the first.
Shutout. There's no way they're going to let a rookie pitch a shutout. So Bryce Miller's not the answer.
He's not fair.
Yeah,
good deductive reasoning there.
And then Chris Sale, of course, would probably die if he was allowed to pitch 9 innings. So those 2 guys are gone. So it's A and B.
His elbow is rubber. It's all of the other parts of his body. So if he can, if his lats can make it through, if his obliques can survive, he might be losing sprockets as he's throwing in the 9th inning. But
and after my injury interview, I actually know what a lat is now. I actually asked the question because I did not know what a lat was.
Good.
The shutout it gave it away. So
yeah,
I thought about taking it out, but if anything, this is a points booster for everybody. I'm trying to get Jason on the board.
What do you think of Jason? I picked the wrong guy because I didn't see the shutout thing until I hit it, and I picked the wrong guy. But yeah, you're absolutely right, Jason. If you don't pick Eovaldi,
I would probably just leave the room. Actually,
is everyone submitted?
Yeah.
All right. During this stretch in the last 15 days, this pitcher specifically has scored a whopping 70.1% of his fantasy points for the entire season, just in these last, couple starts. And who was that? The aforementioned Nathan Eovaldi with the Texas Rangers. But with blood money.
Not a fan of the last 15 days kind of question, though. That's a little.
Yeah.
That's relevant with pitchers. They're finicky creatures. They're creatures of habit. You can't just take one start for anything. You got to take the last couple sort of thing, unless they say I had shingles last week and that's why I only lasted 3 innings or whatever. Anyways, let's go look at the leaderboard. Bartolo Colon fan club, aka Dave Eddy, is almost at 1,000 points. Connor is still nipping at his heels in second place.
Catching.
Yeah, every time Connor keeps jumping up. He keeps catching up.
He's silently kicking butt in the back while we're all yammering amongst each other. So No, that's fat. It's valuable information. You got to keep an eye out on that feller. Anyways, all right, you guys ready for question number 7?
Sure.
Yeah.
Let's do it. Which batter leads Major League Baseball in on-base percentage? Pretty straightforward. Juan Soto of the San Diego Padres has finally caught
straight up on base percentage.
Happ. Oh yeah, on-base percentage. Ian Happ with the Chicago Cubs. Luis Arraez with the Miami Marlins, or Ronald Acuna Jr. with the Atlanta Braves.
Oh god, it's one of two guys here. Shit.
They're all viable options.
Well, this is Jason's opportunity to talk about a Cubs player, since there is one now finally presented.
Yeah, I can say
So
that.
I have to ask, when did you pull these stats?
Just yesterday.
I think two guys are like there.
Yeah.
If I remember.
It's the double A's right at the bottom. They're definitely 1 and 2. I just don't know when we pulled the stats. So it could be Acuna, it could be
I know they've
Arraez.
both been right there. I just guessed. I honestly went against Acuna just because we've seen him 3 times now and he's been the answer once. So I went.
He's at the top of every metric that I think is important.
So I just went with Arraez because it's not Acuna.
Is it Arraez or Arraez?
Arraez is what I've
I
heard.
thought it was Arraez. I thought he struggled the last 5 days or something like that. Unless I was looking at it wrong. I think he's. And if that's true, then I think he's going down, which would point me to the other guy. Acuna would be my second option.
Well, yeah. We
Acuna Matata?
established those two.
Well, there's only one as of right now. So is everyone in with their primary answers, putting their secondary answers aside?
After this, I'm looking up the stats as of today at the end of this, because I'm going to or we could have Joe in the background double check.
It was like as of yesterday at like 2 or 3 p.m.
Oh yeah,
Dude.
I'm calling. I'm calling them.
Is everyone in?
Yeah.
Yep.
All right, let's do it. Surprisingly enough, not mentioned by anyone in the screen, it's Ian Happ with the Chicago Cubs has the highest percentage of
No,
baseball.
on base percent. Like, did you actually sort by the OBP?
0.001% higher than Luis Arraez with the Miami Marlins. I thought that was a pretty wild stat, given that Arraez is hitting over 400 again. But
I would like to throw the challenge flag on this one.
Yeah, me too. Because is it right now?
I'm telling you, just on base percentage alone, Ian Happ, number 1 in baseball as of right now.
Look it up right now.
100% disagree with you, but
100%.
As of right now, okay. As of yesterday at like 2 p.m.
Okay. Well,
what is his OBP? What are the numbers?
The number 1, the largest.
so as of right now, I'm looking this up now because now I'm upset. Acuna is 441 at number 1. Arraez, that's what we decided. 437.
Yeah.
Diaz is 429. Wade Jr. is 427, and then Happ is all the way down at 424. Just FYI.
Must have went 0 for 7 in the last 36 hours.
Did everyone else went like 5 for 5? I don't know. I think we have bad information.
You know what? That's possible. I'm not a professional here. I've got lots of tabs open myself. I filter the.
This is what
you do. Okay.
This is why we're taking you off the thumbnail. You're off the thumbnail, sir.
What I think happened is I think he was trying to give Jason some free points so he didn't end with a 0, and then we had to. Because if you ended with a 0, I would have to fire him.
So
everyone got it wrong.
No, Jason had to get it right.
Yeah, I think Jason got it right.
No, I got the Evaldi right.
Oh, I assumed you got Happ right. Okay.
There's no way that Ian Happ is leading OBP.
You're done with OBP?
Even Jason doesn't think Ian Happ is leading the league in OBP.
Yeah.
Wow.
All right. So
I will give Austin a little bit of credit. This is Joe, by the way.
Hey, Joe.
Ian Happ,
Like the voice of
He was
God.
actually leading, but he has gone 1 for 9 in the last 2 days. So maybe
Big dip.
We're not here to hear this nonsense. Jason.
Just-
Move along with your facts.
Sorry.
All right. You know what? That is one thing that probably I should have checked. But at the same time, that's what happened yesterday, and I have to do other things like every adult does too. So we're moving on to question number 8. We've got 3 more left, including 8, 9, and 10. Let's talk about it. Which starting pitcher has averaged the most fantasy points in regular standard scoring? I'm using ESPN and CBS, kind of like combining those scoring. Which active pitcher has averaged the most fantasy points per start this season? Go ahead and hit the start button, and let's look at those options available. Spencer Strider with the Atlanta Braves, the most handsome man in the land with not Thunder Thighs. He's the squad god. The quad god is what the nickname is. Born in Columbus, Ohio. He's the only vegan on roster, fun fact. And I'd marry him today if you asked me. Anyways, let's go on. Bryce Miller with the Seattle Mariners.
It's definitely not Bryce Miller.
No, it's because it's per start. If it's per start, it's Bryce Miller. I guarantee it, because it's the 10. He's averaging. He was okay. Remember the whole big stat, right? Is that God? And then the whip. Yeah.
He should have messed himself up and put a minimum starts on here.
Yeah, and you know what he's gonna tell you? He's gonna be like, "Well, you know what? When I was checking these stats at 4:42 on a Thursday."
All right. Anyways, on option
it's Bryce
3,
Miller.
Garrett Cull, who is absolutely murdering it as always with the New York Yankees, and Shohei Ohtani, though is only pitching once per 6 or 7 days, is absolutely lights out when he goes out there. So, those are my thoughts, opinions, and notes.
Yeah, so Bryce Miller, the great thing about his debut, right, is only 2 other pitchers ever had a debut where they had 10 strikeouts and no walks. And I mean, Jose Fernandez being one of them, maybe rest in peace. It's Bryce Miller. I mean, look, Spencer Strider's a great little, caveat here because he's going to have a ton of Ks. Ohtani, of course, has been doing everything, but it's got to be Bryce Miller.
He actually gets all the strikeouts for the Braves.
Bryce Miller.
Is everybody in?
Yeah, I will say though, I admittedly do not play in any points leagues, so when I get this year on this, I'm already calling my excuse.
Yeah, never been a big categories guy. The first categories league I've ever played in was that bum of a fan tracks league that we got put into, where apparently it was supposed to be best ball, but now all of a sudden everyone's allowed to add players whenever they want, and I would have drafted completely differently. But that's not what we're talking about today. We're talking about this pitcher.
It was never best ball.
Who? I read it. It was in the details, the comments. Anyways, hasn't blown away batter specifically with any crazy arsenal of pitches, but he carries a 0.42 whip and a 0.47 ERA through his first 19 innings pitched to begin a Major League Baseball career. It is Bryce Miller with the Seattle Mariners. Everybody, you guys missed me out pretty quickly with that one.
Yeah,
that was good.
Yeah.
You gotta read the question all the way.
Yeah. That's 3 times now the hit's been in there, and I just forgot.
No, I locked in Strider because I know he leads the league in Ks. And for DFS,
I did the same.
DFS wise with points.
Right.
I'm like, it's Spencer Strider. And then after I locked it in, then it's like, he didn't say, he just said per start.
Per start, yeah.
I was like, well, I can't change I already locked it in quick because I didn't want Connor to catch me.
I'm a sneaky cat. But anyways, Connor has taken the lead at number 1.
You, Dave.
Yeah, you did. Yeah, you got me on that one big time.
Freaking killing it. Dave Eddy down to 2nd place. Jason up to 3rd place. And DapScout down to 4th. So we'll see, guys. There's lots of questions.
Got some action down there at the bottom.
Yeah, there's a lot of points to be had. All right, so don't you get frustrated. Don't you get discouraged. You can freaking do it, okay? Unless you're DapScout.
Thanks, Dad.
But
Thanks, Dad.
I believe in you, all right? Some smart baseball writers in front of me here. Anyways, question number 9. This rookie phenom, I'm going to talk about Bryce Miller again. It's pretty sick. Has walked how many batters across his first 19 innings pitched to begin his career? He has walked 0 batters, 1 batter, 2 batters, or only 3 batters to start his Major League career. So it's just a guy that is. See,
I know this. I know this answer, but the 0 is definitely amazing in his first start. But I don't want to give the answer away.
He's absolutely killing it.
Look, I knew he was gonna be good, but I didn't expect him to be this good. I mean, the control is something. Look, he's gonna get hit around at some point, right? Every rookie does. People catch up to him, but the control is something you have. come up with. And I thought for sure the nerves were going to get him or something, but he's been phenomenal.
I think that this is just like why I'm talking about Bryce Miller and it being so important is these control guys, though they don't necessarily blow you away with strikeouts. He's absolutely plus strikeouts compared to his innings pitched. But if you look at a guy like, this control king of this guy's specific class was Joe Ryan. When Joe Ryan got traded from the Tampa Bay Rays to the Minnesota Twins, all they talked about was like, this is the control god sort of thing. And you see how that translates in Major League Baseball. You don't have to have the most electric stuff necessarily. Obviously that's something that you can always lean on and it's important, but man, if you can paint your corners where you're on the exact same page as your catcher and you've got a good game plan, all of the metrics are going to lead you to success. You just got to hit your spots kind of thing. And that's kind of why I'm trying to drive home the importance of Bryce Miller, because he is somehow still available in a lot of leagues, and I think it's just an opportunity for people get ahead on this guy, even though he's only pitched 19 innings to start the year. So is everyone?
The other thing with Bryce Miller though, from his last start, is he instead of focusing on his fastball, he really got a lot of swings and misses with the secondaries, which is what we thought was not going to be up to par with his fastball. And the fact that he was doing that, like it was almost as if somebody dared him or bet him to do that. He looked phenomenal. I thought he was going to be fastball reliant, and he just went to his secondaries in his last start. He looked amazing.
Yeah, and just like any sport, those couple debuts, people don't have any film on you per se. Obviously, you've got AAA and AA.
Lots of film in minor league. I mean, whenever I'm looking at prospects, like just from a scouting point of view, more than anything, sure, it's great if a guy can throw 102, but give me a guy that throws, 93 and has 60, 70 grade control. That's what I'm looking for in prospects is, the control, the command that they have. I think that is superior to stuff. Like stuff will allow you to make mistakes and get away with it.
Yeah.
But you're not going to live on that. There's not many people who can live on pure stuff. You've got to be able to control and command the ball. So like I say, pure scouting perspective, that's the main thing that I look at with young pitchers. And then obviously they have to avoid getting hurt, which never happens. But when they're on the mound, it's command and control.
Yeah. No, absolutely. Well said. I appreciate the analysis. Anyone ever got their answers in?
Yep.
All right. Through his first 19 innings pitched to begin his major league career, he has only walked one batter.
Wow.
Yeah.
Good for you, Mr. Guy. All right. We are on to question number 10. And we're going to we're going to end the segment here with some power. So, this pitcher specifically averages the highest velocity on his fastball of anyone in Major League Baseball. And we'll say that it's actually limited to starting pitchers. So, we've got
the highest velocity
average of his fastball. The fastball average velocity is 98 miles per hour. Who is it? So we got Jesus Luzardo, now Miami Marlin, longtime Oakland Athletic. We've been talking. We'll make sure if they were ever Oakland Athletic before, we've got to give them homage from before. Johan Oviedo, if I've said that correctly, with the Pittsburgh Pirates, has been doing super duper well to beat his career with Pittsburgh. Dylan Cease's obviously struggling a little bit from an ERA and a control perspective, but still throws gas. And the all aforementioned and all known Sandy Alcantara with the Miami Marlins, who's starting off a little slow this season, but we know what to expect out of that guy from one perspective. So
the thing here, right? I mean, again, right, is 61st in ERA. And 51st in total bases, but 9th in innings pitched. Right. Okay. All right.
I think I know who it is, and it's off of the innings pitched, because this guy that I'm thinking of, he always goes out here and he'll throw 6 quality innings. He'll get that quality start, and then he'll leave like a hanging slider, and someone will hit a 2-run home run, and then it makes an ERA go up, and then he'll let up a few more runs. And by the time he's let up all these runs, he's taken out of the game in the 8th inning, and he has all those innings pitched. So that kind of points me in the direction of who I think it is, just from me watching him.
Yeah, No, and all these guys that I have listed, only one of them actually has a pitch count. So even what would be considered a pitch count, but also that team that he plays on leads the league in quality starts and average innings pitched per start across that rotation. So obviously I'm speaking very vaguely there because I assume everyone doesn't maybe know the answer, but everyone submitted in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right. So, yeah, the strikeout numbers match almost exactly what he did, what he produced last season. So it just basically leads me to think that the combination of the pitch clock and just trying to, get his control underway to start the year is going to be a simple remedy, and they'll work himself out sooner than later. And this is Sandy Alcantara, averaging 98 miles per hour.
That's who I was thinking it was. Oh,
Man.
Connor with the comeback.
Wow.
Right.
That was close.
Nice job, Connor.
Nice
Good
job.
job to you too. That was very close.
Yeah, man. It doesn't get much closer than that.
God, I'm so pumped to be on the medal stand.
Had a pause.
This was Fantasy Six Pack, first Battle of the Baseball Brains trivia show. We might be changing the name, we might be changing the host, we might be changing the marketing. I don't know, but I hope that you guys found it super valuable. This is kind of information that I think is important to keep track of. Not things you're going to find in a box score per se, but sort of the underlying stats that I find, again, as valuable, that are going to sort of help you be able to differentiate and evaluate baseball players as you, carry on throughout the rest of the Major League Baseball season. So that's the end of my wrap up.
Hey, Connor, sorry, Austin, one second before you leave the wonderful people that are watching. Please like, subscribe, but make sure you subscribe to Fantasy Six Pack. One of the things that we love to have is we love to have people on the Discord asking questions. So once you subscribe on there, please, that we are available for any of your tailored questions. We actually had somebody go through their entire roster last week, and it was one of the best things because all the analysts were able to kind of throw on their 2 cents. We don't always agree, so definitely, come on over to Fantasy Six Pack and subscribe and become a subscriber today.
Well said. I would do that too. Yeah. Well, again, I really appreciate you guys jumping on and humoring me. I had a lot of fun putting it together. It's obviously more fun. The more merrier, the more fun, however you say it. I'll work on my public speaking by the time we get here next, and we'll see you guys next week. Oh my gosh, next week. See you. Goodbye.
Good job, Connor.
Thank you.
Good job, Connor.